Anamorphic lenses are used by cinematographers to give a unique look to their films. They change the aspect ratio, the bokeh, and also produce some amazing flares when light shines directly into the lens. This is super cool, but anamorphic lenses are insanely expensive. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars. Luckily, there is a way to get some awesome flares just like those sci-fi movies without spending all that money, and it's this lens filter. PolarPro has made two filter elements for your lenses, one that gives you blue streaks and one that gives you gold anamorphic type streaks. They're called the Bluemorphic and the Goldmorphic respectively, and today I'm gonna put them to the test. The important thing with filters like this is that they're not easily replicated in post-production. This is an in-camera effect, and that has its benefits and its drawbacks. The benefit is that it looks really natural and it saves you a lot of time in post-production. The drawback is it's baked in. There's no going back. You'll notice that both of these filters have some thin colored lines running through them, and counterintuitively, these lines should be running perpendicular to the direction that you want the flare to go. So if you want a horizontal flare, like usual, you should have your lines going vertically from top to bottom of your lens element. The color of the lines running through these filters also dictates the color of the flare. It's not dictated by the color of the source light. So if you're using a Bluemorphic filter on your camera and you're filming a red light shining into it, you're still going to get a blue flare. Same goes for the Goldmorphic. You're going to get a gold flare. That means it's very important to choose the right filter for the thing that you're filming. Like if you use the Bluemorphic on the sun when it's a nice warm day out, it's gonna look kind of weird, and using the Goldmorphic on a flashlight in kind of a spooky sci-fi situation would also look weird. So they're both really good to have in your arsenal depending upon what type of things you shoot. After using these filters for a while, here's my pros and cons. The build quality is great. The glass is ultra clear and the thread goes on very smoothly. They both come in this nice protective case that actually allows you to put the filter onto the lens of your camera without ever touching it. The back then goes onto the front of this lens cover and the entire thing is used in front of your lens. That way everything stays together, you don't risk losing any pieces of it. The filter also rotates independently of the thread, allowing you to quickly adjust from vertical to horizontal shooting, or just get those lines, those flares exactly how you want them to be in your footage, whether that's traditionally horizontal or you want to do something funky like an angle with it. For the most part, the flares produced by these filters look very good, but they do flare more readily than traditional anamorphic lenses, so you just kind of have to be careful with how you use it. A shot like this, where 3 light bulbs all flaring, looks kind of silly. And sometimes if the light source is too large or soft, you'll get one big soft flare, which just kind of blooms and it looks pretty ugly. It's also worth noting that if you set your aperture too high, the lines in the filter will actually show up in your footage. So I would recommend keeping this probably around a 5.6 or below. So 5.6, anywhere from 5.6 down to 1.8 or however low it goes, your lens goes, I would recommend staying below that 5.6 number. Otherwise, your depth of field is just too large and you do end up getting those lines showing up as elements in your actual footage. Like any tool, there's a right way to use these things and a wrong way to use them. They're an awesome piece to add to your kit, but they're not gonna turn you into J.J. Abrams overnight. Actually, that's probably a good thing. I certainly don't use these in every single shoot that I go on. Actually, it's kind of a rarity for me to pull them out, but when I do, they give that unique look that really nothing else except for an anamorphic lens can provide. And that certainly turns some heads, especially when it comes to social media videos. So give them a look. They might be a cool thing worth picking up. Go for the Bluemorphic if you live in a city or you're more of a sci-fi enthusiast. But if you prefer to go out and shoot nature and you're really after some awesome looking sunsets, I would recommend going with the Goldmorphic. Now, if you're out hiking, hunting those beautiful sunsets, you're probably gonna need a camera bag. And this company that makes these filters, PolarPro, have made a camera bag that is actually pretty unique in a lot of ways. And I reviewed it. You should check out that video over there and see what I think of it.